Hello everyone, welcome on in. I'll give the live a moment to process as we come on in and I pin the stuff for you all. But welcome on in to our late night live. So it is about, I would like to say 9:30 here in Virginia, which is pretty late. But honestly, this is the best time to have a live because you guys need some entertainment before bed, and well, we got art. So come on in, and we're going to be talking about some of the pieces here at Amena Art, and as well as comparing some of our prints we have today. But welcome on in. I am Delphine. This is Amena Art, and we hope that you enjoy this live. Now, of course, this is the print that we started off and left it off with on our last live. This is actually called Peaceful Jungle. And we're just going to start off this live, continuing back off on this one. Of course, if you guys have any questions on anything that you see on this live, do comment below or leave us a DM, and we will get to you as soon as possible. But this one specifically is Peaceful Jungle. It is actually one of our more smaller pieces we have here at Amena Art. It is probably a 24 by 24, I want to say, which is relatively small comparing to some of the pieces I will be showing you tonight, which will probably be about 5 or 6. But this one specifically, it is a green tiger in kind of this very peaceful jungle, as the name implies, and mainly it's just relaxing, lounging, and this is actually a very calm piece. The artist of this piece is Amena K, the artist of all the works here at Amena Art, and this one was finished and actually made in 2024. So this one is relatively new, actually, a part of everything into collections, but honestly, it is one of her much smaller pieces compared to the newer pieces that she has, like Temptation or even Awakening, which I'll probably show you those after in a bit. But this one specifically, she made this off of a feeling of kind of peace and calm, and it only took her about a day to finish this one. She did this actually in our personal gallery window, so everyone could see it as it was being done. And honestly, I think she really got the feeling of peacefulness really down into this one. Of course, I believe so, but it's very calm, it's very peaceful, and honestly, the colors on this piece, including most of her art pieces, is absolutely magnificent. Like, I will show you guys it up close here in just a moment, but the colors absolutely gorgeous. I love how the greens kind of really mix well with the purples that she used as shadows, and of course this like lighter cream color just is beautiful, literally. So I'll show you guys it up close so you can see a little bit better what I'm seeing here, and you get to admire this piece with me as I kind of run you through a little bit here. So, as I said, Peaceful Jungle was painted last year, so 2024. This was actually the first ever piece done in the Amena Art Gallery and Shop. And honestly, it only took a day, which is pretty impressive considering that most of her works take about a week or so to finish. And honestly, it is relatively small. Like I said, I can easily lift this with one arm, while the others require more than a few. But it's absolutely gorgeous and stunning, honestly. Like, look at those colors. She is really a master of colors, and honestly, you got to stay around to see her other works because they are just as beautiful as this one. Now, for the signature on this is actually here on this lower corner, where most of the time she does sign most of her paintings on this lower bar. But honestly, it is beautiful. The detail on this is immaculate and honestly absolutely stunning of her works. But let me put it down so we can have it nicely. Now that I've given you a little bit of glimpse of it closer up. It does have obviously a lot of detail with the foliage and obviously the lion's head itself being not a lion, tiger's head itself being mainly a focal point for this piece, which you can really see with the lighter version of it. But let us compare this to the actual print, because that is the fun part of tonight's live, obviously, other than looking at the art, is comparing to it on how the collector prints and put it to its actual case. So these ones are the actual one-of-ones I'm showing you tonight. I believe we have some that are not one-of-ones and they're just the normal collector prints. These ones are the framed ones that we have. This one is how it looks side by side. There is a little bit of a difference, just a slight one. You can kind of tell probably from over there. It's slightly darker, just slightly. I'll bring it up close for you guys in a moment so you can kind of see the difference. But overall, I think it is really just mainly, I think it's slightly purpler in the tones. So this one is a little bit more purple than this vibrant green, but it gives like this very like beautiful dark green look, honestly. And it's just as beautiful, honestly. It's just wow. So this one I have with me, like I said, is the one-of-one collector's print that I have framed. I believe we have some that's non-framed, but you would have to check our pinned list. But very gorgeous piece, honestly. And you can really see the differences as I have them side by side for once, because usually I don't have them side by side. But I think, honestly, we can agree this one was very well. It's, yes, slightly off in the color, with it being darker, but it's not a bad color for the actual print. It is a very gorgeous dark green, which honestly, dark green is very beautiful, and this is just a little bit vibrant. I think it also helps you see a little bit more detail on the smaller print size, whilst this is obviously much bigger than the small 12 by 12 print. But that's really how they compare. Of course, I like to give recommendations on where I would put this in a house. Of course, comment below where you would put one of these. But I personally would put this in a green room. I would think this would look really good in green room, also known as a sunroom. It would look beautiful amongst kind of like your plants and stuff, kind of like what we have here in the background. I feel like it would look beautiful amongst it, honestly. I feel like it would also go really good in like a nice dining room, like a really nice dining room where you kind of have like those good windows across from it. It would look very beautiful. It gives that calm aura that you kind of look for in dining rooms. You don't really want it to be too loud usually. I feel like this painting would really fit that. But those are my top two places I would put this. And honestly, comment below where you would. But let me put the actual print down so you can look at the piece itself a little bit more. Again, overall, this piece is very beautiful. I don't really see any mistakes here. She has her common style that you actually see with most of her paintings. It's not highly detailed like some of the others that you're probably going to see tonight, but it is still just as gorgeous with all this background detailing and of course the foliage. I think it really makes the mood. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me move on to the next one, of course, and when I come back over, I'll read if you guys have any comments or what you guys said on where you would have put Peaceful Jungle by Amena K. All right. So we got the next one here. Shocker. Let me see what you guys said before I hang it up. This is nice. Yes, it's a very beautiful piece. Beautiful. Yes, yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. Here's our second one for tonight. It's actually the same size as the one that we just saw, but can you guess what it is? Usually on these lives, I do these back to back, but let's guess. It is Cascading Flowers. So Cascading Flowers here is another simplistic piece, of course. This one's actually just flowers. Usually she does more animals with flowers, with only her only flower ones, usually being these mini paintings. But this is actually one of her few bigger paintings, or at least small paintings, in the biggest cast size that is just flowers. Now, fun fact about this one actually took multiple years for it to actually be finished. So this was a multi-year project for our artist Amena K, and it probably took about 5 years, I would like to say. I wouldn't know the exact date, of course, off the top of my head, but I believe it took about 5 years from start to finish for this full completion of the painting today. It was officially finished and signed in 2024 and probably started around 2021, I would like to say. But it's a very gorgeous piece, and majority of this painting, you would have to come a little bit upper close for both the painting and the print to really see what I'm going to be talking about here, which I'll bring it up close to you guys in a second so you can see. But majority of this piece is that it didn't change a whole lot, but it changed in the minor details and finer details and pieces of this painting, which I'll point out when I bring it up close. The top piece that I love to point out, because obviously the one that kind of like is at your face, is the actual like bud of the flowers. They are highly detailed compared to the rest of the flower. And I'll show you this in a moment, and you're going to be able to see it really well when I bring it up close. So stay here. But that is a highly detailed piece. But we also have this flower, which is very much lined compared to these ones, which don't really have the same effect as these two, because that's 2 different timelines that she painted this. Those are 2 different years, 2 different times that she pulled this piece out, painted over. But something I love about it is that this is the original background from back when she originally started. She did not paint over the whole thing. She left the original background and just kept adding on to the flowers and leaves. But let me go ahead and bring it up close to you guys, not leave you guys hanging on this one, so you can really see what I am talking about here. Now, as I bring it up close, you can see the flowers here I'm talking about, where it has that highly detailed centerpiece compared to the rest of the flower. And that's because, like I said earlier, this piece took multiple years to finish. This was a multi-year project in and out of storage and onto canvas. And there's a lot of minor details that you probably will miss at first, and most people will because they don't look at it too closely. But she kept bringing it out and in, and she kept changing and adding things to the flowers and the leaves, and some of these are different colors. It's overall beautiful all together, and just even separately. You can see each era that she's done this in. Specifically, I can tell you exactly which era the part that's the most detailed with the actual, like, it's not the stem, it's like the center of the flower. That was about the era that she was doing cherry doves, or doves with cherries, as well as eels, because those were both her highly detailed, but in like miniature form. So most of this painting, You would have to look at other paintings done by her to really get the knowledge of what decade she probably brought out to do each piece of this full painting. But it's absolutely beautiful painting. I love how it all comes together, honestly. It gives me, myself, Nice, France, but obviously it gives some other people some other feelings. So do comment below what you think overall it's from. Because when we had the interview with the artist herself, Amena K, she could not tell us what the reference was on this. Because as many times as she brought this in and out of her studio, she forgot what the reference of this painting was. She forgot where it was from. She forgot the flower. So it's honestly a complete mystery on what this was supposed to originally represent. But I feel like that is a good representation in itself of people. Because over years, we might start with something, we might start on our journey of life, we might whatever, and we can start moving through it, and we keep adding to this journey. We don't like cover over usually the base of it all. Some of us do, but most of us have it still in us. And we start adding to it, and we get to the final result, and we're like, I don't remember what the point of this was, but it's beautiful in the end still. But I do love this piece, honestly, a lot. And we have to now look at the print version of this, which I looked at this a little bit earlier, so I kind of got a sneak peek. But honestly, it is amazing how well they did on this. So this is the collector's 1-of-1 fine art print here by Amena K. This is her Cascading Flowers one. I believe we have other ones that are not framed, but you would have to look in the actual shop. But this one, absolutely amazing. So let me show you guys. It's literally like 1-for-1 to the original. And this is why I love showing the paintings compared to the prints. Like, sometimes they can be off. Other times you get perfectly like symmetrical, just like this one. Like, look at this. It is absolutely beautiful side by side. But this one specifically, the only major difference that I can tell just by obviously looking at them is that the leaves are not as vibrant, which that happens a lot with prints. It's very hard for you to get the exact color sometimes, especially since these are actual pigments and paint being used on the actual canvas. Well, this is obviously a reproduction of it, but it is absolutely gorgeous. And I will show you guys it up close, of course. We can see that it still kept the fine details of the like middle piece in the actual reproduction and all the beautiful details, so it didn't blur out or anything, which is absolutely gorgeous. That is like what you are looking for in a reproduction like this. And honestly, I love how much these two literally are so similar. Like, it could have not come out any better. But I love mentioning, obviously, where I would put these prints in other people's homes, just because that's like my thing. But of course, comment where you would if you could think of a place. But for this one, Cascading Flowers, I would probably put this print. I would put this in a kitchen. So if you have a kitchen, I'm thinking of a specific type of kitchen specifically, but it'll probably look good in like really any kitchen, honestly. But I'm thinking the type of kitchen that you have like the thing, and I would put this probably on a stand. I probably won't hang any prints of the kitchen unless it has like a specific layout, but of course everyone has the creativity in this. I'm thinking like one that has like a window, like one of those mini windows. I don't know if you've ever seen those. They're so beautiful, honestly. And you can kind of just like put it by the window. That is what I'm seeing. It can go in a kitchen on like a little stand by the window. It'll be very beautiful, honestly. I feel like this would fit a kitchen so beautifully. Like, it would put it all together with the flowers. It's like putting flowers in your kitchen. It's just perfect. It gives that bright, like, it gives that burst of color. And the other place I would put this in would be obviously a, like, I would like to say a living room. A living room would also look very gorgeous, and it gives that brightness of color, but it's also very calm of a piece. It has like this Nice blue here, which is kind of like a sea blue, and obviously the flowers are very vibrant against the very dark greens, which gives it a very calming effect. It gives a very beautiful, luxurious, calm effect. But that is where I would put this myself. Make sure you comment below where you would put it. But it is absolutely beautiful in my eyes. I adore this piece. And honestly, the history behind it just makes it all the better in my eyes. But once again, this one is Cascading Flowers. For anyone that's curious, try and find it. This is Cascading Flowers. It's by the artist Amena K, the artist here at Amena Art. And this piece, the original specifically, I believe is a 24 by 24, possibly. It might be a little bit bigger. I'm not exactly sure because I don't have a measuring tape with me. But if you're interested in any of the works, make sure you send a message and we'll get to you as soon as possible. But let me move this off to the side, get you guys the next one, which the next one's really detailed, honestly, so stay for that. And then I'll check if you guys said anything, I'll say hi again, and we will continue on. All right, so this one's much bigger than the last two we went over. Let me get this on to the easel so I'm not struggling with it. Now come check out what you guys are doing. Say hi again, because I can't really see you too well over there. Hello everyone, welcome on in. Anything to say? This is nice. Yes, it's very lovely. All of our works by our artists is absolutely stunning. And also, I love them, especially in person. If you ever get the chance to own one or even see one in person, I recommend you stand by and admire it because it's absolutely beautiful what she does. But this piece is much bigger than the last two we went over. This is called Fox, and it's obviously by the artist Amena K here at Amena Art. It's out on the back. It is a 36 by 48. So it's one of actually the bigger pieces we have. I think the other biggest piece we're going to be showing tonight is a 48 by 48. So it's a little bit wider. But this one specifically was painted in 2023. And this was actually for an event. So this piece was for the 2023 Art First event that happens once a year, once a day, only one day a year here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So that's where we're located. We're located here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And once a year in the historic downtown district where George Washington and a bunch of presidents and stuff born here in Virginia and stuff. And artists take over the street, basically, for a single day in like the month of fall or sometime soon. It is basically the day of artists where there's tons of booths, there's tons of people, there's painting, there's music, there's a lot of things. And if you get the chance to come down here to experience the event ever, even if you're just staying for that one day, it is absolutely beautiful. And I do recommend you walk the street and actually see what everyone's doing. But this one was done in the 2023 one, so that was the 2023 event. And she did this gorgeous fox here. This one was actually one of her bigger pieces at the time, so it was decently sized. And it was the first time she actually brought out one of her big size canvases onto the streets to paint. By now, she's done it multiple times afterwards, but this one specifically was the first time. And she did this fox in a single day. So another single day painting, which she can really do it fast if she wants to. It's very gorgeous though, especially with the coloring of the actual fox. As I bring it a little bit up closer, you're going to be able to see how it kind of cascades down with a bunch of different colors and shades. And it's absolutely beautiful, and you just really gotta look at it with me here in a moment. But it's got this gorgeous, like, unique style of like these sketchy flowers. It really gives fall. It gives fall. It's beautiful, and honestly, I love it. And it was a favorite all of last year. But let me bring this one up close to you on the easel because it is one of the bigger ones to show you all this one up close. But here it is. This is Fox. And like I was saying, you can really see how the colors kind of like cascade down. It has these reds, it's got some blues, some like whites. It's a very like indulgent in colors. It's got tons of different tones. Even though it's not like a rainbow of colors, you can tell there's tons of different details and tones. Like it has whiskers here. It is absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, you got the flowers and fall leaves that's kind of like falling around it, giving it like this nice framing effect here, which is absolutely beautiful. But it's a gorgeous piece. Obviously, up close, you can really see it. And we have a lot of things with the fox on it because it is just absolutely beautiful. But let me bring it back again, because it is basically taking up the whole screen. That's just how big it is. It's basically the size of me. And honestly, I do enjoy it. I really love the style on this. It's a very unique flower style that she's done on this one, which she specializes in animals and flowers. So obviously this is like one of her specialties with very detailed animals and very beautiful flowers, kind of like enticing her painting around it, giving it a nice frame. But it's absolutely gorgeous. I literally, it just gives fall, which we're getting into that here soon. So honestly, it's one of the perfect decorations at this point, which I keep forgetting that we're getting to fall. It's literally like mwah. But let's get to the fun part, like always, and compare. So we actually have a few different prints of this one. I believe I pinned both of them. We got the square one, and then we got like a rectangle one. I'm going to be showing you the square one specifically. I do have the rectangle one, which I could pick up, but I'll show you this one. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around, and we're going to see how much this actually varies, because that's like the funnest part of these prints and having the original right next to it. But this one is the one of one. This is actually the signed framed one. I believe we have other ones that's unframed, but you know, you'd have to look yourself. And there it is. Now, off the bat, you can kind of tell there's a little bit of a difference here. It's a little bit darker on the print, just a little bit, it's like purplish, I think. But honestly, I think it's better because as much as I love the original, a lot of her originals are very vibrant in color. This kind of tones down the vibrancy. It gives it more of a deep fall look, whilst this gives more of an orangish fall, whilst this gives more of a deep fall to a mid-autumn, I would think. And also, it's gorgeous. The actual details on it is pretty sharp too to the original, as I can tell. And I'll bring it up close so you guys can see for yourself. It is absolutely gorgeous. But look at that. It is beautiful. Beautiful piece. But I think absolutely stunning. Even though it does have a slightly darker shade, I feel like the actual print for this one, at least the square one, is much more fitting for the fall season. So if I had to recommend one, I would recommend getting this one specifically. But you would have to get it soon, since fall's not going to last forever. Halloween's going to come and go, and everyone's not going to get what they want. And especially since this is one of one. But I think it's absolutely beautiful. This would be like a really good like decor for this type of season that we're getting into here soon. And I could really see this in a foyer. So I could see this in a nice foyer. This can stand up actually on its own, but I don't have any place to put it. It could just stand there on a nice like table-side foyer. It could just be a nice kind of like fall / Thanksgiving / Halloween decoration. It kind of mixes all of fall together, which I think beautifully, absolutely stunning. But is gorgeous even with the differences, and I would get this print for my house just for fall. Like, I would. But I'll give you guys one last close-up of this. And I'll go ahead and put it away for you guys. But we are a bit probably midway through the live stream here. And honestly, admiring the fox as midway through is very gorgeous. We're probably going to pause here quickly, and I'm going to go ahead, take a quick break, only for a few moments, and then come back with the last few for the last 30 minutes of the live stream. Kind of refresh it all for all those who's no longer seeing this, since we don't got many people in the room. But those who are obviously still here, make sure that you follow so you get the second part of this live. And we will go ahead and do that. But once again, Fox, and I will be right back after a quick break. And then we'll get back into, obviously, art. But make sure to follow. Be right back with the next ones.